Welcome to All Things Food. This is the channel where we not only love to cook, but we cook to love, and today we're cooking barbecued meatloaf. We have our poblano peppers on the grill over there smoking away, and one of the first things we want to do, because it's a very important part of our recipe, is we want to go ahead and make up our simple sauce. We're going to do about a half a cup of ketchup, then a half a cup of my favorite barbecue sauce. As you know, it's Sweet Christie's. Might as well use all of that, about a half a cup right there. Then 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Already measured that out right there. Then we have a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and onion powder. Throw that right in there. And we got our Grey Poupon, our Dijon mustard. We're gonna do about 3 tablespoons of that, squirt in here real good. Then this sauce over here that we all don't try to pronounce anymore. Worcestershire. Right there, a couple little drops of it. And you may have your own sauce that you wanna use. Send me the recipe, I'd love to see it. I'm gonna take a few drops of this liquid smoke and put in there, just about 6 or 7 drops, just to give us that smoky, tangy taste. And we're gonna mix all this up really, really good. And we're gonna set it aside, and that's gonna be used in our meatloaf, and then it's gonna be used to put a glaze on our meatloaf when we do the final cooking. There's the sauce, so simple. Here are the ingredients, and we'll put that in the link below. Let's talk about the meat that we're going to use in making a really, really good smoked meatloaf or any other kind of meatloaf. I have 2 pounds, and this is a 3-pound recipe of meat. 2 pounds of 80/20 ground beef. That's 80% lean and 20% fat. And I have 1 pound of ground pork. And that pork gives a new dimension, another element to your ground beef. In fact, I'll use this sometimes when I make smash burgers, and we'll do a video on that sometime soon. If you have a real lean ground beef, you just don't develop as much flavor. And if you have a real fatty ground beef, you're gonna get way too much fat in the cooking process. We're gonna blend these 2 meats together. And let me tell you something else about these meats. They're very cold. They've been in the refrigerator. So we're gonna keep these meats really cold. I'm gonna set them aside for right now. I've got about a half of an onion here and a half of a green pepper just cut into big chunks. I'm gonna throw it right in there. And I just happen to have these peppers here. I'm gonna just throw some in for the heck of it. So here we go, we're gonna turn on our blender. That's pureed there, that's the blended up really good. Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put our garlic in there, about a tablespoon of garlic. And then this is my favorite little trick here with meatloaf. This is a beef better than bouillon, beef bouillon, and I use that product a lot. So we're gonna put that in there, and that's gonna give us a little extra beefy flavor is what you want in your meatloaf. Then I'm gonna put in a half a cup of heavy cream, and this is very cold cream, and then we're gonna break in 2 eggs, and this is gonna help us with the binding of everything together here in a minute. And I'm gonna really just pulse this for 1 second just to get it all blended together. Let's talk about another important part of our meatloaf recipe, and that's what we call a binder or an extender. A binder binds the meat together, so when we mix it all together, if we just put this meat together and mixed it, it would have a tendency to fall apart when we put it on the grill or cook it in the oven. I like using Ritz crackers because it really gives a good flavor to anything you're using it with. You can use panko breadcrumbs, potato flakes, just a lot of different binders that are out there. Today we're gonna use about 2 full packages, big packages of Ritz crackers here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mix this meat together real good. Put my fist right down in the middle of this and make a well all the way down to the bottom. You can see that there. You can see the bottom of the pan. And I'm gonna take these crackers and put in here. Probably gonna put most of them. We can always add more if we want to. And we're gonna pour that in here on top of those crackers. I'm gonna go ahead and pour all of it in because I know I'm gonna need it. And put a little pepper in there, because I wanna mix it in real good. I should do this first. Don't ever do what I just did because you could have an accident, and then you can control it better that way. And be sure to clean these off. If you had gloves and you touch those, be sure to sanitize those. And then we're gonna mix all this together. And we're not gonna over mix it. I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of those in. Now this is the fun part here. I have a piece of parchment paper. You can use plastic wrap. Hopefully the wind's not gonna blow us away. We're gonna go ahead and spray this down. What I'm gonna do is take this meatloaf, I'm gonna put it down on this paper and I'm gonna press it fairly into a rectangle, fairly flat. It's looking pretty good. That's about a 1/2 inch or so. I'm gonna take this base that we made, this sauce, and we're gonna put some right on top here. And don't worry about me sticking that back in there because we're gonna be using all of this sauce today and we'll be cooking it. There are a lot of things you can do right now. You can leave it like it is, roll it up and be fine with it. I like to take a little bit of shredded pepper jack cheese, and don't buy the pre-shredded because it has that waxy coating to it. By all means, whenever you're cooking and need shredded cheese, shred your own. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the edge of the paper here and just gently roll it over. As we do, I'm gonna press down just gently. Try not to let the paper go up underneath there and get stuck. You wanna be pulling it as you roll it. And try to shape that log so it's nice and uniform all the way down through there. You don't have to get in a big hurry to do this. Pull that out. Take a very sharp knife, and I'm gonna go right about in the middle, and we're gonna cut it. And that's gonna give me 2 logs. We're gonna take this, we're gonna put it, slide it up onto a sheet pan, and I'm gonna put it in either the refrigerator for a couple hours, or I'm gonna put it in the freezer to make it go much quicker, and firm this up a little bit before we put it directly on the grill. Okay, we've had these poblano peppers on here since we started our process, and let's go ahead and check them out. See how they're roasting along here. I've got a little stove over here and it has a nice little flame on it. If you want to hurry up and cook your poblano peppers a little quicker, you can just put it on a flame like that and turn it, and it'll cook much quicker. We've roasted those poblano peppers. I'm really happy with the way they look. And here's a big Ziploc bag. I've got a little bit of cold water in there. And we're gonna take those peppers and stick them down inside this bag, and we're gonna let them steam about 10 or 15 minutes. We're gonna set it aside. We'll come back in about 15 minutes. So it's gonna steam, and then we're gonna be able to get that skin off the outside of them. Let me show you another little bonus tip that we're gonna do with this meatloaf that we had left over, probably about a pound or so. I've got a little loaf pan here. Spray it real good. Take part of that, stick it down on the bottom. Press it in really, really good. And this is a really simple way. If you don't want to go through all the problem of rolling that log up, if that's not your style, just go this old traditional way with a loaf pan. Still gonna work out just fine. Brush that sauce in there. And instead of grating the cheese, I'm gonna take my cheese and I'll cut it into like 1/4 inch slices. I'm gonna just layer it right on the bottom here. And then we're gonna take the remainder of this, put it right on top of that. And really with this, we don't have to worry about sticking it back into the refrigerator. I'm not gonna worry about that too much. We're gonna go right to the grill with this one. I'm gonna take some sweet barbecue rub, sprinkle right on top of it. Not real heavily, just a little bit. Just use your favorite rub. Right on there, back on the grill. Okay, we pulled the poblanos off the smoker, put them in this bag, let them steam for 15 minutes, so I'm gonna just put them down flat. I'm gonna take my fingers and just work that skin off of those peppers. It's kind of a cool little trick. Turn it over, the same thing on the other side. Just get them off as best you can. We got the skin off. I'm gonna cut the tops off the poblano peppers here. And then we have all these little seeds in here we're gonna clean out. And then we'll take these poblanos and cut them into strips, just like so. And we're gonna set these aside and we're gonna use those later in the process. Just took these 2 loaves out of the freezer. They firmed up a little bit, putting them on the grill, direct heat. We'll take some of Scott Brazil's Twin Feathers Sweet Barbecue Rub, really good stuff here. Use your favorite rub, sprinkle a little bit on top. And we're gonna put them right back in this grill and smoke them for probably about 1 hour and 30 minutes. We want that internal temperature to get up to about 140 degrees. And then we're gonna come back and glaze these and finish them up to 160. Then we're gonna take our poblano peppers, line them right up on top here. They look absolutely beautiful. All right, they're out of the grill, these beautiful meatloaves with poblano peppers and pepper jack cheese. They've rested about 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and cut one of them open, but let me show you. We did two ways. We made the loaves and cooked that on direct heat. We cooked this on indirect heat. So I'm gonna take my kitchen shears and just cut down the corners of these pans to let all that oil, grease drain out of there. Pull that out of there. Isn't that a beautiful piece of meatloaf? Now the one that was cooked on direct heat is a little crisper all the way around versus this one here, but they're both gonna be very delicious. Nice and moist. Thanks for watching today. Hit the like button if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe, it's free. Above all things, remember, not only love to cook, but cook to love, and I'll see you next week on All Things Food.